Okay, takana shalolis arev lichnos bekerem larim maaser. Okay, that's interesting. That's the takana not to refuse to enter into a cherem, to give a meiser, to give a meiser. Obviously, that's the community chest. One person can compel everybody. Yesh minyan be'ir, if there's a minyan in the city. So this is a new thing. This is a separate thing. Period. I think it's one thing, and one can compel somebody to. I think it's to spend money to
Hmm.
hire a minion. Uh, no, no. I guess to come to minion to go to daven. And come yesh minion b'ir. Achloye gabayim lora to acherim. And a person cannot become a gabbai unless other people agree to this. So one people can compel everybody to make a minion this eve. There are 10 people, but you can't become the gabbai unless everybody agrees. V'kodem Rabbeinu Gershom or Agoy Loheisa Takona Zu. This existed prior to Rabbeinu Gershom, this takona. Rabbeinu Gershom or Agoy Tikain L'chad Shel B'chol Shona. Okay, I guess they have to announce every year that one person can compel everybody to make a minion in the city. Chem al makecha v'ro. Somebody hits his friend, shatir lo alcohol atzman. That the alcohol should permit him to themselves. I guess that these are in until the Kehila permits him in. It's a little bit cryptic.
Hmm.
Otiken Rabbeinu Tam Beis Dino, Lamakech Chaviro Chutzi Beis HaKnesses. I guess it's particularly heinous. No, actually, it's less heinous to do outside of shul. Chutzi Beis HaKnesses L'chonso Chofei Dinorim Torniais. I don't get tourneau. I don't know exactly what it is. Some sort of French coin, obviously. Uva Beis HaKnesses. If you hit somebody in shul, HaKnas Kofel. Then you get double the knas. Okay, that's particularly heinous crime. Nun dinar turnis, which sounds like a lot of money. V'chein Rabbeinu Yosef Kora, shara b'fnei Rabbi Yechiel mi Paris. Rabbi Yechiel was the chief rabbi in Paris that they made such a gzera. V'in kol beis pamim v'hit him slow twice. Yitain beis knossos. It's fascinating because we don't not going for knas bisman as right? There's normally something which you would say there's no knas, right? Even in the Gemara, they weren't going for knas b'bavel, right? But obviously, this is something they felt was very. I guess they didn't want to go to the civil authorities. Wanted to handle internally, and they needed some sort of penalty. So they came up with this penalty that they're going to impose a knas, which is it's a fascinating application of a law which normally is reserved for smuchim. But they
Right.
decided we're going to pose this because in the Torah Chashah. So it's very, very, very big kiddush, but obviously it was necessary. Okay. Um, V'yamuke he caught makeh if the person who's hit back. So that's chusa. Then he loses his right to collect. Okay. Lein tzarich la'atil makah rishon. And you don't have to be matzah anymore, the cherem for the original makah. So I guess the original makah automatically goes to the cherem unless the other guy hits him back. So then you have to be matzah for the first guy. But it could be that if one guy beat the other guy up more than there's still a knas is applicable. Okay, cool.
What was going on in the shul? I mean, were they
Yeah.
arguing over football games? I mean, it's like,
I don't know. Michtav yad Rabbi Yehuda Chassid Mitrois. Kilonis b'Hashem migdolei tzarfas bein lemaka beis hakneses. It didn't evidently become widespread this distinction between somebody hits in shul and somebody hits outside shul, and thus the koch be based in lemay to harbor sphere ace lemakumuke. I guess maybe that set stum did not become um, uh, etched in stone, but the based in can judge based on the time and I guess the circumstances between the person who hit and the person who was hit. Kasher Yashar name, uh, the as they see fit. You cannot say muker. It goes to the person who was hit. V'lo lanim. Doesn't go to the poor people. Okay, like it says on Maisa the Pal Gazuza, Shichvu Shiel Muker. There's a Maisa there where I forget his name. This guy was something Bisha was his name. I forget his first name. That they find him to give a half a zuz because he hit somebody, and then he only had a whole zuz, so he hit him again. So he hit him. So in order, so he paid a whole Zeus for it. Chanan Bisha, I think was his name. But in any event, it went to the person who was hit, not to Danim. Okay. Chei Tichnu. Isha Yechidash Okorov Nema Lamar Shiko. So even though a woman is normally not kosher for Edus, and even though certainly not a solitary woman or a relative, is also believed to say that they saw something being hit. Obviously, it was a big plague, right? It was obviously a big issue. V'chein katan damon shem p'nai laz minach shem. Also, to the Katan's belief, there's no time. Interesting what he says. There's no time. I guess there's no time to get other people to come witness the fight. To come to see what was going on. So the Katan's belief. Kamiyah about Perek HaChoyvel, who the Takale Chavrei, some of you hit some boxes from the ear. I think Takale Chavrei literally means he blew a shofar in his ear. But I'm not sure. I think there's a question of what it means blew a shofar or actually hit him. Even I saw him. Zil Shlim. And even though Rabbi Yehuda himself is the dying, he shouldn't be able to be put to testify. But he says no. This is in these cases we bend the rules. And you give according to how much he actually hit him. Okay. Cherem limsor yochid. V'karov cherem limsor. Period. Okay. That's actually or comma. Cherem limsor. Cherem, of course, do masira. But the main point here, obviously, we have that's very bad. But yochid v'karov cherem. The yochid, an individual, and a karav are kosher to testify that they saw this individual doing masira. Avgav lo shomu. Kilshinu, even though they didn't actually hear what this guy was saying. But they saw him speaking to the governor. And so to the, I'm not sure what he means by that. If the ruler says on the
one spoken about.
Yes. But it sounds like he had another excuse. I don't know exactly what that means. But here it seems like he's saying.
It sounds like A spoke to the ruler, and the ruler went and did something to B. That even though we don't know what A said to the ruler, that we can sort of assume A told the ruler to do something to B.
Right.
That's
okay.
what it
sounds like that's what's going on here. You can't cut the margins of a book. Even if you need to write it for writing material. It sounds like it's not a Sefer Torah, because if a Sefer Torah would be also for other reasons. But it sounds like it's any book. We're not allowed to cut the Gillian, even to write on it. I guess you're allowed to write notes in the book, but you can't cut the book. It seems a very strange. Why can't a person do something to his own book? If you own the book, you should be allowed to cut it. But we're saying that evidently because books were heirlooms back then. They weren't, they were not, wasn't like they weren't mass produced. So therefore, no, a book is to a certain extent public property. It sounds like it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Therefore, we're telling you, no, we don't let you cut the margins of anything, right? Because who knows what's going to happen next? Especially because in the old days, what they do, and this is afterwards, but after what they did very often, and they found for many years, probably they still find, old Sfarim, they used to cut up and use to make the bindings.
Right.
Right. So therefore, obviously, there was this the sakana. If we let you use it, they're going to use it for an improper purpose. So even if you say you're doing it right, we don't let you do it because who knows what's going to happen next. Okay, it's interesting because that's Staminisner, right? Of Anastmarim, but they made a cherem. So the embarrass is about tshuva, and they're in cherem. And this is I'm not sure which is Rabbi Gershom or not, because next one is Rabbi Gershom for sure. So I don't know. We're going back and forth here. I assume this is all from Rabbi Gershom then, because although it can't be, no, because the first one's not. But this is known to be Rabbi Gershom, right? You can't look at your friend's writing. Shechaber sends as a letter. Bloidi also without his awareness also. Mizraka mutter. This is a very big chiddush, right? Mizraka mutter. If he tosses out, then basically it becomes mutter because it's his problem, right? And he shouldn't have tossed it out. So once it's tossed out, it's mutter. Of course, there's the whole shiloh. What if it's written on a postcard? They'll talk about that. It's not sealed. Can you read it then? According to this, it doesn't seem to make a difference, right? This lashon wouldn't make a difference. Any ksav you send a friend doesn't matter if it's sealed or not sealed. Okay, but they do speak about that. Cherem shalokach gvinos, gnevos. Sorry, somebody took gnevos. Somebody who took fenced stone objects. Going toevos. I'm sure toevos is saying from a church or something like that. In other words, they took some. A guy would say, "Well, they stole from a church. What do you care that I fence it, right?" Or gavia, probably also it's a chalice from a church. Uvgadim tzoim, again, I'm sure it's talking about the vestments of priests or monks or whatever the case may be. The sifrei tfilos, right, and it could be read as tiflus, but it's the same idea. It means the prayer books of the non-Jews. Mishamsheim, and the things which they use generally in their services, mibnei sakana, because it's a sakana. So you can't just say, well, clearly this is goyim and it's used for avodah zarah, and therefore you should not be concerned with it. No, you're jeopardizing the whole Jewish community. So therefore, you're a cherem if you do that. Okay, takonas Rabbeinu Gershom. We'll do one more paragraph for today. Takonas, is that okay? Rabbeinu Gershom go ben medina sayam ben she'enu medina sayam. Whether he's outside the country and outside the country, v'isha tovas mizonos, and the woman, his wife, demands sustenance. He's not around. He might be far away, might not be far away, but this is not known as the second Ben Gershom, but it's also Chen Gershom. Yachimu koydem mishalo. They say anybody who knows that the husband has property and is not making us aware of it is going to be in cherem. Okay, I guess that was enough of an incentive to get people to reveal that they knew. Koshkin Shabal Ba'ir. So if the husband is in the city, he has to get a cherem. There's nothing. Yuskulam Mizono sells that, and they should determine Mizonos based on, I don't know, whatever they, I guess, ascertain on the basis of this cherem. It says if a woman, a slave, or a wife damage somebody, it's bad luck because they have no money with which to compensate, right? Because all their money belongs to their husband. So therefore, how they're going to compensate the person they damaged. Hanim chavos. That's if they damage somebody else. But if you derive benefit from your wife's theft, chayiv, you have to make restitution. That which they're exempt from paying, that's to pay. But we get a malchus if they damage other people. The locain, if not, eved hakal v'isha b'zuya, a eved who's frivolous and a woman who's degraded anyway, you chovlim anashim achashvin. They'll go around damaging VIPs. So we have to enforce it somehow. We flog them. Getting back to people who fighting with each other. Whatever the gap is in their damages of each other, they pay the full value. And then we damage. Then I'm not sure what the difference is between chavolos and the nezek shalim. I don't know why it says achar. What?
Lotar nezek shalim, I guess, means like the difference, right?
Yeah, maybe chavos means the medical bills.
I think so.
Yeah, but Boshes and the embarrassment, which is interesting because Boshes, again, at the time of the Gemara raid, they weren't collecting Boshes. But he's saying that we do collect Boshes. Bakol Zek Neged each one cars opposite the other. I guess sometimes there's more if it's 2 or 3 against 1. I don't know exactly how we reckon it then. And if the makkah was, I think, intransigent, Vamre said, I don't want a din Torah. Yisau Kuba Basin is Yodan Basin should remove themselves. Yidnu Shus Lamuka Alechas Lavil Barakoshagoyim. Should give permission for him to bring it to a secular court. Uh, uh, I'm not sure. Amar Rebbe is Hamake. I don't know. Misha Charef Aviv. Uh, uh, yeah, I don't know what Alf Ray stands for. Somebody who hit somebody who cursed his father. In other words, Reuven hit Shimon because Shimon cursed Reuven's father.
Ah,
Thank you.
Ramaker Shecharav Aviv.
Yasudin Amuke. It's no excuse. They make restitution for the person who was in hit Shalom Matzina Sheish Lo Nakos Mishal Charef Aviv. Okay, he shouldn't have cursed your father, but that's a reason to go um, hit him.
Okay. Okay.
All right, interesting tachonas. Very
Good.
good. All right, have a good Yontif, and
Good. And, we'll be in touch.
yes, okay, take care. Okay, bye bye.
Ugh.